The lair was too quiet. Donnie's fingers spilled over his keyboard. That sixth sense that came from living with three brothers his whole life suddenly screaming at him that something was wrong, very wrong. His eyes flicked to the security feeds. Empty main room, empty dojo, empty movement. Just a flash in the kitchen camera before it went dark. Donnie's breath caught. That camera hadn't malfunctioned in months. After the last time the foot got too close for it to go dark now. The silence felt heavier, more oppressive. No TV static from the pit, no game sounds, no skateboard wheels on concrete, and more worryingly, no sounds of cooking from the kitchen. At this time of day, Mikey would usually be starting dinner prep. Instead, silence. A faint whisper of movement caught his attention. Then, the soft clink of metal against metal from the kitchen. Donnie's hand found his bow staff, fingers curling around the familiar wood. Years of training kicked in as he rose silently from his chair, every sense on high alert. Another metallic sound. Soft scraping. He moved through the lair like a shadow, following the suspicious noise to their source. The kitchen door was closed. It was never closed, and beneath it the faintest flicker of light danced across the floor. Pressing his ear against the wood, he held his breath. More scraping, paper rustling, and then, "Come on, come on!" Mikey's whispered voice drifted through the door. "Just need to test one." Test? The familiar smell of sulfur seeped under the door, and Donnie's eyes widened as realization hit. No, he wouldn't. The scrape of a match. Donnie burst through the door just as a bright flash lit up the kitchen. His eyes landed first on the mess scattered across the counter. Tubes of paper, black powder, fuses, and a pile of what could only be homemade fireworks, right next to his coffee maker. "I can explain," Mikey said, standing up frozen, holding what looked like a freshly lit firework. The flame crept closer to the powder. "See, I found this really cool video about—" The firework sparked. "Mikey," Donnie said very carefully, watching the spark travel up the fuse, "put that down." "Right. Yes. Putting it down." Mikey placed it on the counter, right beside his coffee maker. Time seemed to slow. The spark reached the end of the fuse. Donnie lunged forward, but it was too late. What followed could only be described as chaos in technicolor. The firework tipped, shooting colorful sparks directly into Donnie's beloved coffee maker. The machine, apparently taking offense to being turned into a launch pad, began dispensing what looked like a fountain of caffeine fireworks. 5 minutes and several small explosions later, Raph and Leo finally appeared in the doorway, drawn by the commotion and the distant smell of scorched coffee beans. Later, after the smoke cleared and the coffee maker had been officially declared a casualty of Mikey, Donnie found his little brother in the kitchen, already cleaning up the mess. So, Mikey kept his eyes on the scorch marks he was scrubbing. "In my defense, I didn't know fireworks could bounce like that." Donnie looked at his coffee maker, now sporting an impressive array of blast patterns. Then back at his little brother. "Next time," he said with a resigned sigh, "just ask me to help, and maybe we do it somewhere that isn't next to expensive appliances." Really? Mikey's head snapped up. You'll help me make fireworks? I'll help you make them safely, away from my coffee maker and my kitchen. Still, Mikey paused, a grin tugging at his mouth. But you have to admit, for a second there, it looked pretty awesome. Donnie just shook his head, already missing his morning coffee. It was a good coffee maker,